Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Worthy Director General Medicine, Major General Nadeem Fazal, Hilal Imtiaz Military, respected General Officers, Senior Officers, dear colleagues, and students. On the behalf of Commandant AFBMTC Brigadier Tariq Ghafoor and the entire team, I welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of Practice-Changing Updates in Hematology, Treatment Sequencing Insights 2024. As a moderator of this session, I feel myself immensely honored to guide us through this important gathering. This conference marks a significant opportunity for us to exchange insights, explore advancements, and strengthen collaboration in the field of hematology. With a distinguished lineup of speakers and a diverse agenda, we aim to advance our collective understanding and enhance the care of hematology patients in Pakistan. This year, we are privileged to have Director General Medicine of the Pakistan Army as our chief guest. His presence underscores the significance of our discussions and the commitment to enhancing healthcare standards in our country. We are grateful for his support and leadership in promoting medical excellence. I would also like to extend my appreciation to the organizers, sponsors, and volunteers for their dedication in bringing this event to fruition. Your contributions are vital to its success and to the progress of hematology care in our country. Let us now formally begin the session to share and explore a range of topics that reflect the forefront of hematological research and clinical practice. As we embark on this journey of knowledge sharing, I encourage all participants to engage actively, ask questions, and share their experiences. First, I would like to invite Professor Tariq Ghafoor to this august gathering for the welcome note. Professor Ghafoor is a true luminary in the field of pediatric hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. With over 15 years of experience, including the performance of more than 500 stem cell transplants and the treatment of over 3,000 children with malignant disorders, Professor embodies excellence and dedication in every aspect of his work. He is presently serving as Medical Director and Consultant Pediatric Bone Marrow Transplant Physician at AFBMTC and the Head of Pediatric Oncology Department and Combined Military Hospital, Rawalpindi. His impact extends beyond clinical practice as he has supervised more than 100 trainees in pediatric hematology, oncology, and clinical hematology. He has several national and international publications to his credit. So please extend a warm welcome to Professor Tariq Ghafoor.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Honorable Major General Nadeem Fazal, Hilal Imtiaz Military, Director General Medicine, General Officers, respected delegates, distinguished guests, and dear colleagues, Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. It's my great privilege and profound pleasure to welcome you all to this second symposium of practice-changing updates in hematology. As a chairperson, I feel honored to host this remarkable event and anticipate several distinguished guests, scientists, scholars, and professionals in the field of hematology from all around the globe will share insights and exchange ideas. The talks and discussion will focus on the practice-changing updates in a variety of hematological disorders. Established in 2001, AFBMTC is the largest transplant center of the country with the capability of performing more than 200 transplants on annual basis. And it is also the largest training center in the field of clinical hematology. Furthermore, AFBMTC is the only center in the country to have a dedicated cellular therapy program, including ongoing work in CAR T cell therapy establishment. Since 2015, our institute has been at the forefront of cellular therapies like mesenchymal stem cell, culturing, positioning us to offer innovative treatment option for our patients. As we come together today, we are at a pivotal moment in the hematology research and clinical practice. Recent advancements have brought us closer to more precise personalized therapy for our patients, and new insight from key conferences such as ASH 2023, EHA 2024, and ESCO 2024 have further deepened our understanding of, and the treatment sequencing strategies across the various hematological disorders. Though this symposium we aim to engage exclusively in scientific and educational activities and endeavors related to hematology, oncology, and stem cell transplant. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the most innovative times of human history where groundbreaking discoveries are being made almost on daily basis. Probably the most challenging aspect for the low and middle income countries like ours is to keep a balance between the adaptation of the novel and fascinating therapies and affordability. We need to tailor the new treatment options very wisely according to our needs and our pocket. I wish you all a stimulating experience throughout the symposium. Let's embark on a journey of creating treatment algorithms that are adaptable to our individual patients, optimizing efficacy while minimizing toxicity, both physical and financial. I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to the organizers and sports staff who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring this event to realization. Your dedication, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the excellence have not gone unnoticed, and we are proudly grateful for your contributions. I would once again like to thank you all for the honoring this gracious occasion, with your gracious presence. Pakistan Army Zindabad, Pakistan Paindabad.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Dr. Khurram Bilal Tariq. He's a well-respected hematologist and medical oncologist. He's an accomplished physician with regional, national, and international contributions. One such accomplishment involves conceptualizing and leading an intense collaboration between representatives from multiple different countries, including USA, UK, India, and Pakistan, to take American Society of Hematology to Pakistan. In 2018, he created a HOPE virtual platform for oncologists and hematologist physicians from USA, UK, Canada, Middle East, and Asia to discuss potential future collaborations, relevant updates in the field, and shares ideas on optimal management of difficult cases with international thought leaders in the field. Dr. Tariq has made significant contributions to the field of medicine with numerous publications in reputable journals.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Khurram Bilal Tariq. I'm a consultant hematologist and medical oncologist with Intermountain Healthcare and also a professor of research in an adjunct capacity with Appalachian State University. Behind me are these red rocks on the foothills of Zion National Park, and further along you get into the world famous Grand Canyons. In this area you see a lot of dinosaur footprints, petrified forests. So historically it's a landmark within the United States. Anyways, this year we are bringing to you the best in the lineup of our hematology conferences. While the name has stayed the same as last year, which is practice changing updates in hematology, the character has really changed because of the number of different initiatives that we have taken this year. First off, as you have noticed, it's a discussion about how we sequence treatment. So we'll get to learn a lot of pearls from thought leaders, and we have changed it just so this conference becomes more relevant to you and in your practice on Monday morning. Other initiatives include the inclusion of pediatrics hematology section. There is also resident jeopardy, and then there is a very unique aspect of this conference which was not there before, and that it has to do with hobbies. We don't live in a vacuum. Physicians have a life, we have family. So this year we have invited people to submit a little video on the hobbies that are near and dear to them, and we will be sharing some of those with you as well to be inspired and learn from each other. Then there is the section on oral abstracts. This year, just like last year, we will be collaborating with HOPE. HOPE stands for Hematology Oncology Physicians of Pakistani ethnicity. It's a 501c3 organization that has about 440 hematologists and oncologists, mostly based out of United States, but spread out all over the world. Then there are two very important and inspiring lectures. One from Dr. General Pervez, who is the founder of multiple transplant units in Pakistan. He will be discussing the challenges and how he has been able to overcome them. And the second lecture is by Dr. Shahrukh. Dr. Shahrukh will be talking about CAR T cell therapy, what are the challenges and how they can be overcome to establish the first robust CAR T cell center here in our beloved Pakistan. However, none of this would have been possible without the help from a wonderful, dedicated, and exciting team in Pakistan. Let me start off by thanking Professor Dr. Tariq Ghafoor, Dr. Nigat, Dr. Mehreen. I consider her my big sister, and I do that because she was one of the founding members as I was venturing out to bring ASH to Pakistan back in 2020. Her along with Dr. General Pervez. So thank you so much to both of you for what you guys have done. Without your support, we would not be here today. So we did ASH for 2 years. Then we did practice changing updates in hematology last year, which was essentially a review of abstract from EHA, ASH, and ASCO. And this year we're just pivoting a little to include, insights from thought leaders about how they sequence treatments, and if there are any abstracts that have changed their treatment paradigm. Sure, they will be discussing and sharing their insights on those as well. Besides Dr. Mehreen, we would like to thank Dr. Mariam, Dr. Yasser, Dr. Ahmad, and let me just take a few seconds to appreciate what Dr. Rahil Iftikhar has done for everyone. You can bring all the vision, I can have all the discussions with everyone, but if the vision does not get enacted into a conference, nothing happens, right? So to that extent, what Dr. Rahil Iftikhar has done is unsurpassable. So hats off to you. Thank you for continuing to put your effort in this conference, for supporting me and the rest of the team in making this truly successful event. Besides that, it's really a lot of times people behind the scenes who make all the impact, and that includes wonderful individuals from the IT department, Mr. Imran, Mr. Adnan, and Mr. Ayaz. I thank you for all that you have done. None of this would have been possible without your help. So having said all of this, we have a wonderful conference lined up for you. Just sit back, relax. If there is anything that I can assist you with, please reach out to me on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, and any concerns, questions, queries, or new initiative that we can use to improve upon the conference will be greatly appreciated. Having said this, let's just dive right into it and enjoy a wonderful practice-changing updates in hematology, insights into how I sequence treatment. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Parvez Ahmed to deliver a keynote lecture on bone marrow transplant in Pakistan, current landscape and future prospects. Dr. Parvez is a renowned transplant physician and hematologist, widely recognized for his pioneering contributions to the field of stem cell transplant in Pakistan. With a career dedicated to advancing medical science, he has successfully established and led several transplant centers across the country and is a director of about 5 transplant centers, mashallah. His extensive body of work includes numerous publications in esteemed medical journals, further cementing his reputation as the leader in the field of hematology. Dr. Parvez continues to shape the future of transplant medicine in Pakistan, making a lasting impact on both the medical community and the lives of countless patients. So please.
Inviting me. As we know, bone marrow transplant is a challenging but at the same time rewarding area of medicine. And over the next 15 minutes or so, I'll give the overall appraisal of the progress and the transformation of bone marrow transplant in Pakistan. And the procedure is fairly simple, as we know. It's not technically difficult. You ablate the marrow of the recipient, take out the hematopoietic stem cells from the donor, infuse it into the peripheral blood, and they home into the marrow and regenerate. But it is one of the most complicated and difficult area, since the patient becomes immunocompromised and immune reconstitution takes around 1 to 2 years time. We can take the stem cells from the bone marrow, from the iliac bone, or they can be taken out from the peripheral blood after mobilization through apheresis machine, and this product can be infused into the recipient. Now here are the milestones of stem cell transplant in the armed forces. The idea was conceived in the late 80s and early 90s, and it was basically brainchild of late General Salim, or even before that people. They established various facilities like tissue typing, flow cytometry, but actually this is the man who pushed it, and he is a person who had and has lot of energy and vision, and had he not been there, I don't think that the facility would have been established in the armed forces at least. And during early, there was the HR training, then foundation stone was laid in 1995, but as usual it got delayed due to various reasons, and finally it got inaugurated in 2001, and the first allogenic bone marrow transplant in the armed forces was carried out in July 2001, and that was a soldier with severe aplastic anemia, and he is alhamdulillah still alive, happily married with 3 children. While there was a systematic development of bone marrow transplant in the armed forces, this brilliant hematologist, late Dr. Tahir Shamsi, he came from UK and he did first autologous transplant as early as in 95 without any infrastructure and help. He was all alone. Rather, he did 2 transplants, autologous transplant, but since there was no infrastructure and facilities, unfortunately both of them, they died. But he was persistent, and he performed first allogenic transplant in 1999, then established transplant in another hospital in 2001, and finally established the NIBD that is still there in Karachi. An overview of the cellular therapy. This is one of the most promising area in the modern medicine. And there are 2 components of the cellular therapies. One is the regenerative medicine, and other is the immune cell therapies. And bone marrow transplant is the combination of the regenerative medicine as well as the immune cell therapies, because it not only regenerates the ablated marrow, but it provides immune effector function in the form of graft versus leukemia effect, in which the host, with the donor derived T cells, they attack the tumor in the recipient. Now this is the pluripotent stem cell derived from the human embryo. It can transform into complete human being, can be obtained from the embryo as well as from the dedifferentiation of the somatic cell. But the experimentation is not allowed in most of the countries of the world. What we are left with and doing is experimentation on the multipotent mesenchymal stem cell. Now, there are various sources of mesenchymal stem cell, but the commonest one is the bone marrow in the adult and adipose tissue, and the placenta in the umbilical cord blood in the perinatal source. Please disregard the complexity. What I want to convey is that the mesenchymal stem cell derived from the bone marrow has been proved to be promising for the treatment of neuron-related diseases and demyelinating diseases in phase 1 and 2 trial. In fact, we did a pilot study in 2011 on our soldiers with spinal cord injury by giving them autologous mesenchymal stem cells, and allogenic product was and still being used by the VMTC for GVHD as well as for other disorders. Now, the adipose tissue derived stem cell is found to be useful for the type 2 diabetes and other endocrine disorders in the regenerative medicine as well as for skin healing. While the umbilical cord derived mesenchymal stem cell, it is useful for treatment of the pulmonary dysplasias, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and chronic lung diseases. Now, having said this, the regenerative medicine is still in the clinical trial phases. It is not, it hasn't become standard of care treatment. And this would probably require some sort of invention or discovery to overcome many obstacles till that time that it becomes a standard of care. So it is still in experimental and trial phases. The other aspect of the cellular therapies, immune cell therapies, these are clinically being tried and used and has become standard of care in certain hematological disorders. They have been used in various diseases, including the autoimmune diseases and type 1 diabetes. And in this immune cell therapies, we can use the non-modified T cells as well as the genetically engineered T cells. And there is, in this particular thing, we just take the T cells from the patient, and there is ex vivo expansion and reinfusion of those cells. While in this, they are modified to express a certain antigen receptor, and that would attack a particular antigen that is present on a certain tumor. And these CAR T cell therapies have approved for treatment for some type of acute leukemias, acute lymphoblastic leukemias, some B cell lymphomas, and multiple myeloma. Now, why do we need BMT in Pakistan? This was a question that General Masood Anwar faced a lot of it, but even we remained, we were even questioned for quite some time that why do we need bone marrow transplant? We are still struggling with the tuberculosis, malaria, and many infectious diseases. There is high incidence of hematological diseases, especially inherited diseases, and it is provides a potential cure for certain conditions that would be otherwise fatal. For example, severe aplasia would die within weeks or week to months. Similarly, most of the thalassemics would die by second and third decades. And availability of BMT is crucial to provide the state-of-the-art treatment. And important thing is that cumulative cost of this one-time bone marrow transplant is far less than the alternate treatment over the years. And last but not the least, it is the way forward. Why not to do bone marrow transplant? Now, this is the picture from the Center for International Blood and Marrow Transplant Research, one of the biggest research registry. And these dots represent the bone marrow transplant that are registered with CABMTR. As we see, most of these are concentrated in the Western Europe and North America. and they are sparsely represented in the underdeveloped world. So, bone marrow transplant is one of the index of national development. Now we do have challenges like there is delayed referral, lack of education not only among the patients but also among the healthcare providers. There is limitation of infrastructure, uh, diagnostic, and as well as the transfusion services. They have got difficult areas. Financial issues are poverty. Most of the people are below poverty line. Then there is we keep on struggling with the availability of the drugs, certain chemotherapeutic agents. Some of them are not even registered in this country, and you have to get it through the black market. And then there's lack of national donor registry. But with the advent of the haplo transplant, I mean this issue is not that hot. Then there are cultural and religious barriers. People would prefer not to offer their children, male children, as donors. Then there are difficult problems with the post-transplant care. There are infections, issues with the education level of the families and patients. There is no social security support and lack of rehabilitation services. Now, coming to the current landscape, at the moment there are 14 bone marrow transplant centers in the country, and they were established from 1999 till 223. One is not currently active, PIMS, and there are 2 to 3 centers that are occasionally providing, but around 10 centers are regularly doing bone marrow transplants. Now, this is our national data of bone marrow transplant during 2023. As we see, the total transplants carried out were 459. 133 was the autologous and allogenic 325, including 55 half-match transplants. There's a big chunk. Most of the allogenic transplants were carried out in thalassemia, followed by aplastic anemia, with relatively lesser number in malignant diseases. And among the autologous transplant, multiple myeloma and lymphomas are the major indications. So unlike the Western population, our major indication are the thalassemia and aplastic anemia and inherited disorders, while in Western populations, acute myeloid leukemia and lymphoblastic leukemia, these are the major indications for allogenic bone marrow transplants. Now we did some exercise during 2019 and 2020. In 2020, in the PSH meeting, we had informal discussions and decided to form a Pakistan blood and marrow transplant group, and we got it registered in 2021. The aim was to collaborate and participate in promoting high quality blood and marrow transplant, and to introduce standardization, documentation, and improve training and research. We have got active working groups, are in the process of developing national guidelines. Raheel is current on that. And we are already collecting, not only collecting the national data, but we are also participating in the submission of data to the World Marrow Transplant Registry. Coming to the cost, it's very high cost. It's a costly procedure in the developed world. Pakistan has got one of the lowest cost of bone marrow transplant, approximately 1/10 of the cost in most of the developed world. And these are the financial sources that are utilized to provide bone marrow transplant. Majority are self-financing, some help from the charities, various organizations. They sponsor their employees, like the armed forces one, and public money from the social security, zakat, Baitul Mal, they are meager compared with the workload. Now, this is important in considering in the resource constraint setup in our country. Now, this on x-axis is the quality and y-axis is the cost. If we go for the low quality, the cost of rectifying the defects and the cost of not having quality is high. Infections and complications will lead to increase the cost. As we go along to improve the quality, we keep on reducing the cost. And at that particular moment, we achieve a reasonable quality at a low cost. But if we want to excel and need to have a very high quality, the cost would be exponentially high. So there can be 3-4 centers in the country that can aim this sort of quality and with very high cost, that would be more than double the normal cost. But we have practiced this model at Thalassemia Center, our Pathwell Center. We have done more than 50 transplants at a substantially low cost. The cost of bone marrow transplant at Pathwell is approximately 50 to 60% of the national cost that is being offered at other centers. And what we have done, we have implemented this, a reasonable quality at a very low cost. Future prospects, we are in the phase of developing CAR T cell facility in the armed forces as well as at a place Gumbat in Sindh. It is in the phase of establishment. Grey structure is there, and armed forces, they are also pushing through the program, and we may one day be able to have the gene therapies. And human resource, we already have trained a lot of people. They are finding jobs in the Middle East, in the UK. There is infrastructure development. We are doing local and international collaborations. Development of local pharmaceutical industry is one of the prospects. And this is a large area that can be explored and can be utilized. And this is my conclusion, that is a potentially curative treatment modality, and it has progressed and transformed over the past 25 years or so, but still we need increased awareness, improvement in infrastructure and international collaborations. And I acknowledge with thanks the participation, all the participating centers of the PBMT for sharing the data in the national registry as well as for this presentation. And I thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request our worthy chief guest, Director General Medicine, Major General Nadeem Fazal, Hilal-e-Imtiaz Military, for his address. Sir is a graduate of Army Medical College, 8th MBBS course. He's a fellow of College of Physicians and Surgeons and fellow of Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh. As a consultant physician, he has worked all over Pakistan, besides working in United Nations missions in Sierra Leone and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. A dedicated teacher who has supervised training of several trainees, an active researcher with many publications in national and international journals. Please extend a warm welcome to Major General Nadeem Fazal, Hilal-e-Imtiaz Military.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Brigadier Tariq Ghafoor, Commandant BMT, my seniors and teachers sitting on the left, general officers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is my distinct pleasure to stand with and address such an august gathering. Let me begin by appreciating the efforts of Armed Forces Bone Marrow Transplant Center for hosting the practice changing updates in hematology. This is a timely initiative which will bring positive impact in the emerging field of clinical hematology and bone marrow transplant in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, healthcare is an essential pillar for any country's growth and development. Globally, the social indicators of any country are measured by the effectiveness of the healthcare system of a country. In this regard, the healthcare system in Pakistan has seen a significant improvement in the recent years. The 2021 and 22 fiscal budget saw the highest ever federal allocation in the healthcare center. But of course, much still needs to be done, but I believe we are heading in the right direction to deliver the highest standards of healthcare. Distinguished guests, the Army Medical Corps has a tradition of being at the front lines, be it in times of war or peace. The men and women in uniform have a history of selfless devotion and dedication to serve the people of Pakistan. Most recently, Army Medical Corps' collaboration with civilian authorities to curb the surge in COVID-19 cases must be praised. The Armed Forces Bone Marrow Transplant Center, established in 2001, is a state-of-the-art institution and is the largest transplant center in Pakistan, and having performed nearly 1,500 transplants. The AFM BMTC is a comprehensive care center which aims to provide standard of care, innovative and research-driven care to patients with blood disorders and bone marrow transplant. With a mission to educate professionals and public, the center offers exceptional programs that integrates patients' care, research, and training of doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff. Bone marrow transplant is a complex and highly specialized treatment which has revolutionized the outcome of many diseases which were once deemed inevitable fatal. The rapid and unparalleled advancement in the field is a hope for millions who previously would have braced themselves for worst outcomes. The Armed Forces Bone Marrow Transplant Center is the largest transplant center in Pakistan and has served to bring and establish this treatment modality for the people of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan, being a developing country, needs international collaboration and exposure in the field of medical science to lessen the chasm between the Pakistan and the developed world. Our talent needs foreign exposure to further enhance their skills and to get well served with latest medical trends practiced globally. Therefore, I feel this meeting is a step in the right direction. I would like to extend my gratitude to the foreign dignitaries for being part of this endeavor. Your valuable inputs will bring a positive change in the field of hematology and bone marrow transplant in Pakistan. We must encourage this exchange of ideas on a regular basis. In conclusion, I would like to commend the Armed Forces Bone Marrow Transplant Center for their services in the field of healthcare in general and clinical hematology and bone marrow transplant in particular for their contribution in improving the lives of thousands of people. In a short time, they have managed to change the perception of the diseases which were once thought to be inevitably fatal to those with favorable survival outcome and improved quality of life. And that I believe is their biggest contribution to the society. I am hopeful that the productive interactions in practice changing updates in hematology would be beneficial for the field of hematology and bone marrow transplant. It would be a stepping stone for such endeavors in future. We must continue to support such efforts, and I'm confident that we will see some very positive development in the near future. I thank you all. Pakistan Army Zindabad, Pakistan Paindabad.
So thank you so much for your kind words. I would now like to request Commandant AFBMTC Brigadier Tariq Ghafoor to kindly present shield to our worthy chief guest. So with this, our inaugural session comes to an end. I would request you all to kindly proceed for the coffee break. Thank you.